HRBC show called Let's Talk. So today our guest is the founder of the Hampton Roads Green Book, Seko Varner. So, hello and welcome, Seko.
Hey, good to see everybody. Hopefully, everybody's tapping in, having a great experience here in Hampton Roads in these streets. Thanks for
well,
having me on the show.
thanks for coming. Would you like to tell the people a little about yourself?
All right, cool. So I'm Seko Varner, and I guess I'm a transplant, originally from New York City, Brooklyn, New York. Then I moved to Columbus, Ohio. And while I was in Ohio, I was accepted at the Great Hampton University. And so I came to Hampton University, and my family moved to the Virginia Beach area while I was at Hampton. And I've really kind of been a Virginian ever since. I'm an educator, I'm an entertainer, and I'm an investor. So those are the three things that really take up my life. I entertain. I have an entertainment company, a disc jockey, wedding event company, special events company. I do investing. We do real estate investing. I do REITs. I do some startup investing and a couple of stocks as well. I'm not heavy in the stocks, but I'm moving in that direction. And I'm an educator. So I've worked in a number of schools in Hampton Roads, predominantly in Portsmouth, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, and Suffolk. And so I call myself the edutainer. I kind of blend education and entertainment together.
Okay, all right. So I have a few questions. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. First question. How did the idea for the app come about?
Well, that's a really intriguing question. So here's the story. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and my father was from Alabama. My mother was from Georgia. So whenever we would leave from Brooklyn to Alabama or Georgia or somewhere to visit a family, my father had this ritual where he would pull out the Bible and he pulled out the Negro Motorist Green Book. And we prayed using those two books. You know, he would pray over those books. And he said both of those publications kept us safe. And another thing that he used to teach me is these publications, these books, allowed blessings to circulate. And, I was young. I didn't really understand it at the moment. But my father transitioned about 15 years ago. And there became more and more talk about the Green Book. The movie came out. And I was like, I've seen the Green Book. I've used the Green Book. And around that time, I became intrigued with the idea of resource circulation. And I found that communities that self-resource, particularly those communities that self-resource at a high level, they have less crime, they have higher education attainment, they have higher economic attainment, they have less poverty, and they have, this is interesting, they have fewer preventable diseases. So I was like, whoa, what if we were able to make sure that the resources within the Black community circulate better? And I used to be in the Hampton Roads Black Pages and the Hampton Roads Black Pages USA. They were two competing businesses here on Hampton Roads. And I kept saying to the publishers, there's got to be a way that we feature all of the businesses. And they kept saying there's no way to do it. You got to pay to play. If we gave people free access, we couldn't make the money we needed to publish the product. Well, since we're in the digital age, I realized that with a website and with an app, I can do just that. And we're still having problems in our community with resource circulation. So in the quote unquote Black community, our money, our resources circulate once, right? In the Latino community, our resources circulate 6 times. In the Asian community, our resources circulate 9 times. And in the white community, the resources circulate so heavily, so fully that they can't be calculated or measured.
Hmm.
So I think that one of the ways that we can create the environment where our other initiatives can truly impact our community is by making sure that we circulate our resources better. So that's the whole story behind the reason why we decided to do the Hampton Roads Green Book.
That's a good story. All right, all right. Okay. So, what insight can you give to others who may want to create an app?
Well, there's an interesting thing. So let's go back. There was a time when you had to go to a website developer to get a website. You don't have to do that anymore. Everything is plug and play. You just plug in the information, publish it yourself. The app world is moving in that direction as well. So I'm not an app developer, and you don't have to be an app developer to release an app. Now, to get a high quality app, you need to get a high quality web app developer, right? But for your first version, the version that's just the version that determines if your idea is going to work, you can use a template app. And so there's a plethora of sites and businesses that provide template apps. So if you want to create an app, find one of those companies that provide template apps, see if it'll work for your budget, because there's a cost to it. And the great thing is, if your business flourishes, you can later upgrade to a more robust app. So anybody who's interested in getting an app out there, all you have to do is find one of those services that allows you to build upon their infrastructure. And once again, once your business is doing business, you can move to a more fully developed, detailed app.
Okay. All right. How can people get listed on your app?
That's the great thing. The app allows everybody, we spotlight Hampton Roads Black-owned professionals, organizations, and businesses, but we don't discriminate. So anybody can get a free listing. They can just download the app from the App Store, and there's a button that will appear on the app that says submit your free listing. Or you can, Google Hampton Roads Green Book, and the website is the best place to get your free listing. And with that free listing, you'll be in the resource directory that we have. Everybody in Hampton Roads can access it. We can promote your business. If you want more love, if you want more exposure, then you can elect to pay for one of the paid subscriptions. But if you want to just try things out, we want to make sure that everybody, particularly in the Black community, our professionals, our organizations, and our businesses create their own listing so we can find a repository. We have a repository of our companies, our entities, so we can make sure that our resources circulate better. But anybody can get a free listing just by downloading the app and clicking the button that says free listing, or by going to the website and clicking advertise, and then you can choose to get a free listing.
Okay. Okay. Now, what are your thoughts of creating an app that covers other states?
Well, one of the things that I like is there are a lot of other apps and websites that provide resource directory services that cover the rest of the country. There's one called the Virginia Black Business Directory that does a really good job of Virginia Black business. We've decided that we want to narrow down because Hampton Roads is 7 cities, and we have Franklin, and we have Williamsburg, and we have Yorktown, and we have Cape Charles. So we don't have to really scale by going nationwide. We can scale by locally focusing on our region. So I like the fact that there are other apps that handle the entirety of the nation. We actually have listings that we've created for those other apps. So if you're looking and you want to find something in Atlanta or New York, there's a listing on our app that will help you get there. but we're firmly focused on our region. So I don't want to try to do everything to everybody. I really want to change Hampton Roads. And if we can change Hampton Roads, then we have a great project that somebody else can replicate in Richmond, in North Carolina, you know, in Chicago. Chicago is interesting because I've been in contact with some of the people who had a Black business group in Chicago. And when they saw what we were doing, they created their own, and they're in the process of following that model. They stay in contact with me now and ask questions about how they can do this and how they can benefit from this. And it's really interesting. So I'm putting together a proof of concept that, Idaho, there needs to be one in Idaho. There's probably some regions in Texas that can benefit. Texas is a big space. So you might be in one city in Texas, and you may not necessarily go out of that region. There are enough businesses, professionals, and organizations in that region. So we've decided that we're going to focus and we're going to firmly plant our feet on the Hampton Roads region. And we're going to support the other directories that are out there that do a national approach.
Okay. Well, those are all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything else you would like to tell the people?
Well, one of the great things is when we first launched, the Hampton Roads Black Caucus really supported the development of our app and our website. So you can find the Hampton Roads Black Caucus on the app. And it's important that we share in not just in a social media space, but in a more directed space, our information. So when HRBC is doing an event, since HRBC has a listing, HRBC can put their events on the app, and everyone who has the app will now be informed of the HRBC's events. HRBC might be doing a special promotion, so they can create what's called a deal, DEAL, which is the coupon, online coupon, and that online coupon will be specific to the HRBC, and the people who who've downloaded the app can access that coupon directly. And the last thing is articles. So I know that the HRBC does a lot of communications. So you could take one of your earlier articles or one of your newer articles, and you can create an article that will live on the Hampton Roads Green Book as well. And so anybody who has a listing also has the ability to create events, articles, and coupons. We really want to make sure that we recycle the resources here in Hampton Roads.
Cool. All right. Well, I really do appreciate you coming to the show, and that's all I have for you right now. Thank
All
you.
right, Nana. Well, hey, it's always glad to talk with you. It's been a minute. We were in the room together with each other about 2 weeks ago. We gotta make it so it's not that infrequent. Maybe every 2 months or so. Cause you good peoples.
I appreciate that. Uh-oh. But thank you.
All right. See you later.
All right. Bye.